is a little bit of a contradiction because you get the impression that, you sit on a dock all day drinking a beer and that's sort of the whole day. But it is also actually one of the most exciting activities that you can do on a day-to-day basis. I went on my first fishing expedition, when I was in, I think, grade 8. And I went again with my mom and my dad to Tofino, where we had done a bottom fishing charter. We took a 1-hour boat ride straight out into the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Me, my mom, and my dad did not take any anti-nausea medicine. So by about half an hour into the boat ride out, all of us were seasick and we were just puking over the side of the boat. It was a 3-day trip that we had booked, so that was the first day. We decided to skip the second day. Well, we said, okay, well, we've already paid for it. We're gonna try for day 3. We were medicated to the gills. We went on day 3, and that was when I caught my first fish. The rod's just shaking in your hands. You don't know, if you don't hang on to it tight enough, the whole thing could just fly out. It's literally just you versus nature. That's been a thing, it's been a constant in part of my summer for the past, I'd probably say 6-7 years, is that we always have an annual fishing trip. I'm very much an introvert. At the time, it was a little bit of a challenge to myself to see whether or not I would be able to succeed. My first foray into sales was actually automotive sales. And it sort of kind of snowballed from there. I went from selling cars on the sales floor into the automotive financial office. From there, I actually quit the industry to get my real estate license, which I still currently have. It was sort of a bit of a sideways move to also get my financial advising license, and so now I hold both licenses, financial advising and real estate. And I find that it's really helpful because having that overall picture of the industry and knowing how finances fit into getting a mortgage or helping clients get that mortgage, as a financial advisor, I'm able to help them realize their dream, being able to help clients with that. And from there, helping them with their first property is just the additional icing on top of the cake. So I really got started in the financial industry when my friend whose uncle was a longtime financial advisor brought him into the industry. And so that was when I knew that this existed. I was early 20s at the time. And I thought it was really cool because I've always felt that one of the things that our education system here in Canada is missing is financial literacy. And you don't know how taxes work, you don't know how interest works. And I think those are all really important things that as an adult Canadian, you should need to know because it's so important to your everyday life, especially as you grow up and you're trying to get a mortgage, you're trying to live life. And, finances are such an integral part of that. In 2018, that was when I got my LLQP license, but I hadn't quite decided which firm to join at the time. And it actually just so happens that my parents knew Angela, and she was also looking to hire an assistant. And so in early 2019, that was when I joined Illy Wealth Management as Angela's assistant. So it was a really great learning opportunity because not only was I sort of learning the ropes in the financial industry, I was also doing a lot of things around the office. 2022, I felt like I was ready to sort of take that next step. And so right now, I'm a part-time assistant to Angela, so I still work in the office part-time. And with the other part of my time, I take my own clients as a financial advisor. I am licensed, and so I feel like it's been really cool sort of to see the other side of that, to be able to see my own clients, help the people that, I'm more familiar with. My clients tend to be a lot younger, and so that's also been a very interesting journey so far. A lot of people don't know how to manage their money. We as humans very much have a loss aversion as opposed to trying to make something that we don't have, where we a lot of the times try to keep what we already have rather than, and when they see investing in the stock market as gambling. And I think one of the challenges that is really difficult is sort of changing that mindset and seeing that money, in order to make money, you need to use money. You also got to be realistic, and I find that clients tend to appreciate that more when you're upfront with them as opposed to someone else who will tell them, oh yeah, that's totally doable, but we're gonna have to do something really underhanded in order to do that, because that also puts them in a very dangerous position sometime down the road. And maybe 10 years from now, they're gonna end up being in a worse position than they are today. And so it's that balancing of what is the appropriate risk to take, how do you give them a plan that they're gonna want to follow. You know, a lot of that comes down to themselves, their self-discipline, and whether or not they're willing to take your advice and follow that. A lot of the really crazy things that are on people's bucket lists, I've pretty much all done. Skydiving, bungee jumping, river rafting, paragliding, parasailing, that's all been checked off. I think a lot of it was because my mom was very adventurous. So a lot of the things that I've done before, I did with her. So I went skydiving with her. I think it's really thanks to her and thanks to her adventurousness that really kind of made me the adrenaline junkie that I am today. How does that factor into my client? Well, first of all, I think a really important part of being an advisor is understanding there are different risk tolerances. So yes, I am someone who can tolerate a lot of risk, but I also understand that there are people who cannot. Obviously, I would adjust my recommendations accordingly, and I would always tell them exactly what their options are and have them choose. I'm not that kind of person who goes, well, this is what you should do, so do it. And that's sort of where that expertise comes in, to be able to offer alternatives that they might not have considered for something as long-term as financial planning, where you're not just planning for the next year or 2 years, this is like a 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road kind of thing. And I feel like as long as I can build that relationship with my clients and they truly believe that, what I say has merits in terms of the logic behind it and taking everything into consideration, that's really where it all comes down to. I mean, if I can go on vacation 4 times a year, that would be pretty cool. Obviously, the ultimate goal is financial freedom. Just, I work at my leisure. It's not because I have to. If I'll be able to do that, and I would probably keep working just because I really enjoy it. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy making them happy and seeing them happy through their own efforts and knowing that they were the ones who got themselves there and I was able to help them. That's what really brings me that fulfillment.